Let's be real. If one more person tells you to just take a bubble bath for self-care, you might scream. You've got real responsibilities. You're caring for others, juggling your work, trying to stay on top of everything. And somewhere in there, you're also trying to stay connected to God and not lose yourself in the process. That candle isn't cutting it. This isn't surface level self-care advice. In this video, we're walking through 5 simple but powerful mindset shifts for faith-led women who are tired of doing it all and still feeling empty. Whether you're returning to school, caregiving, or just trying to come up for air, you'll find something here that gives you clarity, relief, and peace you can actually feel. How do I give myself grace when I feel like I'm always falling behind? I know how easy it is to slip into guilt mode. You miss one thing on your list and suddenly it feels like you failed. But falling behind doesn't mean you're doing life wrong. It often means you're holding too much or holding things that were never meant for you. Grace isn't a reward for getting it all right. It's a rhythm that invites you to rest, reset, and be seen without the pressure to prove anything. Try this. Write down 3 things you're carrying today that you might not need to. Maybe it's a volunteer role you took out of guilt. Maybe it's the pressure to be emotionally available to everyone. Maybe it's the image of having a perfect home. Just name them. And then take out your phone right now and set a daily reminder that says, "What can I release today?" Let that question be your soft landing each day. You're not being lazy. You're honoring your limits, and that's holy work. Speaking of grace, another challenge many women face is that overwhelming feeling that everything is spinning and it's all on them to fix. Let's talk about that. What can I do when everything feels out of my control? When life feels chaotic, the natural instinct is to hold on tighter. I used to think staying in control meant I was being responsible, but I've learned that gripping harder only adds pressure. The turning point for me came when I started asking, what's mine to carry and what's not? That question shifts your energy immediately. Let me share something that helps ground me. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And Isaiah 26:3 reminds us, you will keep in perfect peace whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. These aren't just verses, they're invitations. God isn't expecting you to hold everything. He's asking you to hand it over. Here's something simple to try. The 2-2-2 method. List 2 things you can control, like your words or your pace. List 2 things you can influence, like your tone or your schedule. Then list 2 things you'll release to God today. Even writing them down can bring relief. You don't have to fix it all. You just need to know what's yours and what's His. This naturally leads to another common struggle, feeling defeated when you can't stick to a daily routine. If that's you, take a deep breath. There's another way. What if I can't keep up with a daily self-care routine? Let me just say this. Consistency doesn't have to mean daily. If you've been judging yourself for missing a day or 2 or 5, you're not alone. The goal isn't to build a perfect streak. It's to build trust with yourself and return to rhythm even after a rough week. You don't need a full hour every day to reconnect. You just need small moments that hold space for peace. Let me give you a gentle rhythm you can adapt. Morning, 1 verse and 3 slow breaths. Afternoon, 2-minute prayer walk. Even to the mailbox counts. Evening, 1 gratitude note before bed. That's it. That's stillness. That's restoration. These touch points give your day anchors. Tiny reminders that your peace matters too. And when you start small and stay kind to yourself, your rhythm becomes something you can actually sustain. And while we're being honest about the pressure we carry, let's talk about perfectionism, the weight so many of us quietly wear. How do I stop being so hard on myself when things aren't perfect? I've spent years believing I had to earn peace by performing. If I didn't get it right, I assumed I wasn't worthy of rest. But that mindset is exhausting, and it's not from God. The truth is, He's not asking for performance. He's asking for presence. You can be faithful without being flawless. Here's what helped me shift. Instead of asking, "Did I get everything right today?" I now ask, "Did I show up with heart?" That question leaves space for mistakes, for grace, for growth. And when the self-criticism creeps in, I use journaling prompts like, what would I tell my best friend in this situation? How did I show up with heart today? These reflections reminded me that I'm not failing, I'm forming. And formation takes time, gentleness, and a lot of grace along the way. And finally, let's talk about something that's often hard to admit. Those seasons when you feel disconnected from your faith. You're showing up, but you feel distant. Let's gently walk through that. How can I reconnect with my faith when I feel distant or distracted? Faith isn't always found in long, quiet times or peaceful mornings. Sometimes it shows up in a whisper, on the drive home, while folding laundry, or during a deep sigh when your body's worn out. If you've been feeling disconnected lately, you're not failing, you're just tired, and you're not alone. Here's where I start when I feel far from God. I pray simple, honest words like, God, even though I feel distant, I know you're near. Lord, help me see you in the middle of my day. I want to want you again. No fancy words, just real ones. And sometimes I write down one scripture and sit with it, even if I don't feel it right away. That small act of showing up is enough. God isn't waiting for the polished version of you. He's ready to meet you in your reality, just as you are. If this message spoke to you, I'd love for you to take the next small step. No pressure, no overwhelm. Just a gentle way to begin again. Join the free 7-day Balanced Success Challenge. It's a simple path to start rebuilding your rhythm with God at the center. You'll also find a link to a short check-in survey. It only takes a few minutes, and it helps me to create tools that meet you right where you are. I read every response because your story matters. If this video brought you clarity or comfort, go ahead and like it, subscribe, or share it with a friend. And take a look at some of the other videos on this channel. I'm creating this space for women like you, faith-led, quietly rebuilding, and ready to breathe again.